Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Warframe profile. Today we'll be going over Loki, the Master of Deception and the Master of Stealth. As you can see on the screen before you, we have Loki and Loki Prime. Loki and Loki have very identical builds, but Loki Prime just is that much more shinier. Those shiny bits are slight but very drastic, as you can see, and the most noticeable difference of them both is the helmet. Loki Prime has a drastically different helmet, which is extremely impressive and extremely overwhelming, especially for a Master of Deception. Your enemies won't be seeing that much. The most noticeable difference for Loki Prime is the added energy bonus. Loki has a base value of 150, but Loki Prime has an added bonus of 25 points, which totals it up to 175. At rank 30, that's 225 compared to 262. It's not that much of a difference. It is a 50-point difference. With energy increase mods, that adds up to a whole bunch more, and it just makes the pool that much larger for that much more power spam. Loki's first ability is that of Decoy. Decoy allows him to project a holographic projection of himself to draw enemy fire. Decoy is a very interesting ability because it just spawns a holographic projection, as I just said, that will just shoot the enemies, and the enemies will no longer put any attention towards the player if the hologram's closer. The hologram always spawns with a pistol that would vary between its prime variant and its base variant. The base Decoy has that of a Lado, which just shoots blankly. It doesn't sound very impressive, it sounds like a pea shooter, but then you have that of Loki Prime's Decoy. Loki Prime's Decoy spawns with a Lex Prime and sounds very powerful, it's very loud, it has a very basic thum, and that much more menacing. Is the power stronger because it's Prime? No, but it just sounds that much more interesting. Decoy is affected by power duration mods, so it stays on the field a lot longer, but nothing will affect its health, its shields, or its regeneration rate. It has the same base value throughout, it just increases duration as it levels up, which is still a pretty good skill if you hide it behind cover and have enemies just shooting at a basic prop because they can't get to the decoy. It does work through walls if you didn't get that point. Loki's second and most distinguishable ability is that of Invisibility. Invisibility permits Loki to become camouflaged with his surrounding and untargetable to enemy fire for a set duration of time. This duration can be affected with power duration mods, and it does give a significant stealth damage multiplier when stealth finishers have been executed. While this ability does make Loki invisible to enemy line of sight, it doesn't make his weapons silent to weapon fire. So shooting off a loud weapon will still alert the enemies to a rough estimation of your location, but you'll lose the stealth finishers if the enemies have been alerted to your presence. Then we have Loki's third ability, Switch Teleport. Switch Teleport allows him to teleport to his enemy's locations, and his enemies teleport to his previous location. It's a very good A to B and B to A situation skill. It can be used on friendly forces or on enemy forces, and it does make some very interesting moments when the enemy is like, "Where the hell am I?" and your friends are like, "Where the heck have you placed me? I cannot get out of here." So it does make some very interesting and gimmicky moments. But one thing that Switch Teleport is most noticeable for is traversing the levels. Switch Teleport can be paired up with Decoy, and you can teleport to the Decoy's location and the Decoy to your location, which allows you to get across gaps or just across rooms that much more quicker. It is still a very interesting power to pull with friends, but be careful when you do it too much. You'll have very, very angry friends, and you may not be able to run with them ever again if you do it too much. So, use with caution. Please, you've been advised. Also, Switch Teleport is affected by power range builds, so you can teleport that much further and that much more annoyingly. Then, last but not least, we have Loki's fourth and final ability, Radial Disarm. Radial Disarm will remove and deplete all enemy weapons, if they have a ranged weapon that is, from active fire, forcing them to become melee units, pulling out a stun baton or their melee equivalent, depending, most likely stun batons. Radial Disarm is affected by range builds and strength builds. Strength will only benefit the impact damage it does when the skill is active, otherwise that's about it, but range is the most noticeable one. The larger the range, the more enemies that can be pulled into melee range, or melee forced combat. Yeah, melee range. This ability is his most destructive and most noticeable one, because at higher end play, it literally makes all units just blitzkrieg you and just go with melee strikes, which can be easily overwhelmed or countered by Tenno powers. Otherwise, this is a very nitpicky skill, but it scales near infinitely. It does scale infinitely. Let's redact that last sentence. So, a quick overview on his powers. Most of them you can see on display now. 3 of his abilities, which are the first 3, are affected by power duration. Meanwhile, the last 2 are affected by range, and only the last one is affected by strength. So, if you were to do anything with Loki, I'd say just place a lot of duration on him. Duration is his best friend, invisibility is his best friend, and being a deceiving little Tenno is his best asset. So, my thoughts and recommendation: use Loki as a utility-based frame that he is. He is not a caster, he is not offensive, he is neither defensive unless you use Radial Disarm in a defensive manner, but he is a utility frame. All his powers have utility to them, and they will scale practically infinitely because of their utilitarian purposes. So, keep that in mind when you play with Loki. He is a very fun frame, he is a very interesting frame, and some people will argue that he is Loki, a master race. So, until next time, take it easy, have fun, leave a comment in the comment section down below. What do you think of Loki? Is Loki a frame that you consider playing? How do you like to play with him? What do you do to your friends as Loki? So, until next time, take it easy, Tenno.